GameStop is on the short exemption list over in the UK. This is for January 1st, 2025. You zoom in, GameStop is right dead center smack dab in the middle. Now, something similar was investigated 4 years ago when GameStop was trading on FTSE under 0A6L. Now, the combination of off-book trades, fractional shares, and missing price data raises concerns that there may be some form of hidden market activity or manipulation going on. Further investigation into Citadel Connect and its role in facilitating these trades is encouraged to understand the full picture. That is because 4 years ago, this Reddit DD figured out some correlation between GameStop trading under this ticker 0A6L and basically revealing that the listing has no price information, only trade volume, and involves off-book trading and fractional shares, which could suggest hidden or non-transparent trading activity. The poster links this to Citadel Connect and its European venues, speculating that these trades may be manipulated or obscured. The lack of data and unusual trading practices raise questions about possible market manipulation. Now, GameStop being on this short exemption list can also very much show that there is price manipulation for GameStop and specific factors to bring the price actually to the downside. When certain stocks are on this exemption list, exempted in short selling and off-book trading, it can lead to price suppression, false market signals, lack of transparency, allowing institutional players to manipulate the market without detection. This could distort the value of the true stock, leading to artificially low prices depending on the market manipulation strategy that is employed. Now, I don't know if they're about to do this to try and bring down the momentum that the algorithm is about to push and crack through, or we are about to get a sell-off. Now, before I show you the charts, because I'm extremely excited still about GameStop, I want to wish all of you guys a happy new year and shout out to the greatest community here on YouTube. I thank you guys for all the support. We made it through another year, and again, I couldn't do this full time if it wasn't for you guys. I love you guys so much for all the support that you show, and happy 2025. This is a year to get rich, separate yourself from that family line of poverty if that is something that you have been in, and quit your 9 to 5. Now, the off-book trading and lack of transparency and 0A6L listing for GameStop can correlate with the short exempt rules in the UK, as both create an environment where market manipulation could occur without clear oversight. By using the mechanisms of off-book trading, fractional shares, and short exemptions, institutional traders could potentially suppress the price, so on and so forth. Now, this is the setup from now, May, as well as December of 2020, and you can see that the setup is exactly the same. It is not similar. It is basically the same on all 3 occasions. Given you see slightly different movement before this break higher and consolidation, the time frames line up and match up perfectly. The only difference is GameStop in 2020 was at $5. GameStop in May of 2024 was at $17, and now it is at $30. A bigger move, bigger move, bigger move. Now, Roaring Kitty posted this. This was on December 17th of 2020. You know, the longs destroy the shorts, earnings divide the gains, tried to run, tried to hide, break on through the other side, break on through the other side, break on through the other side. Yeah. Now, this was released on January 1st, 1967, and the charts are lining up looking like we are about to break through to the other side. And I do think, even though we didn't get that Roaring Kitty tweet on New Year's when the ball dropped at 12 at midnight, right on New Year's Day, we could potentially see this tweet 8 p.m. tonight, and that is what I'm watching for, and that is what we should all be watching for. It does not have to happen, but the likelihood of it happening, I'd say, is a guaranteed 50-50. Like, there is a 50% chance we see a Roaring Kitty tweet tonight at 8 p.m. on the dot, causing this thing to go parabolic. Now, this is confirmed that we are in a simulation. People say Greg is Roaring Kitty, Greg is Ryan Cohen, Greg is Elon Musk, right? No matter who he is, he has posted timelines that correlate with GameStop and Roaring Kitty, and he has been in the community, right? Talking back with Buck the Money, GameStop, Roaring Kitty. He is all over. He's active on X, and now he posted, "How is tomorrow 2025? When 2020 just started last week." Which, just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This is a clear as day signal that we are getting, and I'm going to show you what it could possibly mean in the charts. Before I do that, I just want to say, for the brand new year, this is the only day I'm doing it. So I should have put this at the beginning of the video, but whoever hasn't watched a couple minutes in anyway doesn't deserve to see this. This is the only day I'm doing it. The Discord is $12, and when you get in, you're grandfathered at that price. Today it will be $10, and you're in forever at that price of $10. This is only for day 1 of the new year of 2025, and tomorrow it will be back to $12. So if you want to get in the Discord and level yourself up and quit being lazy, get in the Discord, because we have tons of benefits in there that you could be paying several $100s for, but instead You get an active community who want to become financially free like yourselves, who help each other out, who trade with each other. Overall, best vibes in there. That link is in the description. It's at the very top. Now, we saw a massive sell-off in GameStop $35 calls nearly all at once of $500,000. Is this bearish? Technically could be bearish, but this could just be the market makers trying to force you out of your positions and sell before that massive parabolic move. Looking at GameStop's chart, this is what we're tracking coming into the new year right here, which this was on January 11th when we got this gap up out of this wedge. GameStop is looking very similar. Of course, I showed you that picture right back here, this picture, right? Very, very similar. But if Greg's tweet has any validity to it, and how is tomorrow 2025 when 2020 just started last week, do these line up per se, where if this is the start of the new year, right? December 31st right here back in 2020, obviously a little bit off, right? You get this gap down to finish the wedge and then essentially gap up on the 11th, right? If GameStop saw something similar to that, we gap down a little bit, right, to about $30.50 or so, $30.60 when we begin trading, and then coming into next week before we squeeze higher coming into January 9th, which would be the perfect setup, the perfect scenario that Roaring Kitty has been calling out. And this is the second scenario that I am watching out for if we don't get a gap up overnight tonight. Now, this would also line up with what the SPY should do with a flash down, with what Bitcoin should do with a flash down, which I'm going to talk about. But ultimately, this is something that you could see in the charts for GameStop. Now, to anyone freaking out about a little bit of price action or a little bit of sell-off, GameStop finished up the year 87%. SPY 23%, Tesla 62%, AMC negative 34%, Google 36%, Microsoft 13%, Meta 69%, Apple 34%. The list goes on and on and on. Your GameStop has outperformed even if you didn't get that short squeeze so far. Okay, now looking at GameStop, if we are seeing in the same scenario, December 31st coming into the new year, right? This is what you see. Drag the bars pattern over. If we do not have it adjusted, this is what you would see, right? And obviously, it's not going to be to this scale based on the previous scale that we've seen. AMC would crash all the way down to about $2.50, come all the way up to about $5, reject back down to $3.75, and then start its squeeze. Now, if we were to adjust this to make it actually look somewhat decent, this is something that you would see on AMC. All right, you'd see it flash down tomorrow coming into the week down to $3.81, maybe wick a little bit below down to $3.70, climb back higher to $4.15, which is a major resistance level, come back into the zone around $3.90, rip higher to $5.14, and then this is where you see the squeeze right after that, which ultimately would lead us into January 22nd or so, which is a little bit later than GameStop, if that is what we expect with GameStop. Now, FFIE, I'm bringing this up because we called this out perfectly. FFIE can come back into this zone and test this zone, potentially come and close this gap. We wicked all the way into this zone below $2.25, and we got a slight bounce right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if FFIE gets either a full body candle or a wick all the way down to $1.75 or $1.80 before getting another parabolic move, at least maybe back up to 445, maybe 372, or maybe higher, right? Maybe 538, so on and so forth, because FFIE, the last time we had a rally, it was much, much larger than what we're seeing right now. So who knows how high this thing could go. If we end up taking off and going crazy, I'd watch for around $12. SPY, this is something that we predicted, and it is playing out perfectly to a T. Get a bounce off this level, come up, come back down. Now, levels were a little bit off as we didn't get all the way up to around 593 like we said. We got to 591.83, which is okay because that was the lows of these wicks right here, of these candles that you saw back on December 27th, right? Now we are scaling back down. We tested this low, potentially making a double bottom right here and bringing the SPY up here. However, what I could see happening is this flash down still to 582.40, or maybe even lower, maybe even lower, 576.70 or 574 even, but it would be very brief before coming up and going for that high at 623.35. Now also coming into inauguration, you could see a lot more positive news for the market. So until that time frame, you could see a sell-off, and then getting closer to inauguration for Trump, the market should react pretty well. And that would lead us also into Tesla. But really quick, Jim Cramer says he's very bullish on 2025, which just should be scary for the entire market. Tesla came all the way down to what I would say is somewhat structural support, or stronger support, right? But ultimately, structural support is down where my price target is at 362 or between 371. I ultimately saw Tesla going up to. We called it off of this bounce right here. Tesla would come up to 460 and come all the way back down to potentially my price targets, and maybe even as low as 320 or 260, right? Which is all the way down here. 260 for Tesla. That happens if the market begins to crash. But ultimately, if it doesn't, what I'm saying for Tesla is we close perfectly here, and this is the perfect spot for bounce opportunity, or we wick down, and the wick could be dangerous, and that could come all the way down to 370 or at least close to there. Also, keep an eye on MicroStrategy. I forgot to throw it in this video. Now, for cryptocurrency, FTX repayment schedule revealed for $16 billion distribution starts in January of 2025, which should ultimately positively affect the crypto space. Leading us into one thing I want to talk about before Bitcoin is Bonk really quick, because Bonk came all the way down here from its highs, and now it is basing in this range. I want Bonk to hold this range. I see this as buying opportunity number one. And if Bonk breaks below, which you saw it do back here, but it recaptured very quickly, the next range that is ultimately the number one buying opportunity is so far down. It is very, very low from where Bonk is trading at right now. And I just want to warn anybody of that. That would be about a 65% dip to get into that zone if we cannot hold this zone. So we're watching memes, we're watching crypto as a whole. What I see for Bitcoin, if we look back as to what we're tracking, beginning of the new year right here, Bitcoin did gap higher and then come down and retrace. But as you can see, we have been in sort of the same phase right now. So Bitcoin could be due for a little bit of a flash down. And what that would look like, in my opinion, is the first, obviously, a break below 91K is going to cause panic. If we break below 91K, will cause panic, and you will see a brief wick, in my opinion, to 86 to 84, and that will be buying opportunity before Bitcoin goes higher. Then XRP, other altcoins will follow, and then hopefully Bonk will go and make that next all-time high. Obviously, if a market crashes, all of this is off the table. Now, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to join Moomoo. It's the second link in the description. If you use my link, open an account through them. It's a free broker, and make a deposit into your account of even $1. You will start earning free stocks from there. The more you deposit, the more stocks you get, and you can sell those stocks or keep those stocks, completely up to you. But they're also giving you 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash, access to level 2 order book data for free, trading options, going long, going short, viewing other exchanges, and more as a retail trader. So go do that, guys. The link is in the description. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Get in the Discord while the price is lowered, because it's not going to be lowered for a very, very, very long time, and you guys will not regret it. That is it. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.